Combat sports gods, it's me, Hank. I don't usually ask for much. Well, actually, that's not true. If anything, I ask for too much. But you are the combat sports gods, not the MMA gods, so it's different, But if you're really up there, please help me in my time of need. I need Mike Tyson to follow up on that slap of Jake Paul with a series of body shots and uppercuts that leave that degenerate permanently attached to the canvas. Please let Oliveira knock down bobblehead Chandler again and choke him out so that all that copium motivational speaking bullshit he's been spewing these last 2 years gets put to rest. And finally, let Stipe beat Jones to the eye poke and stomp on his weak toes until he quits so that he has to fight Tom Aspinall in order to prove that he's still the GOAT. Tommy Aspinall, Tommy Aspinall. Thy will be done, combat sports gods. Amen. Troopers and grinders, welcome to Hank the Tank and the Idaho Skatesman's preview and picks for UFC 309. Paul versus Tyson, KSW and Rizin, all that good shit. But let's start with a question, Skatesman. I'm gonna try to resurrect the spirit of one of the journalists at the press conference. How does it feel to be in Alabama, man? How does it feel to be in a different place? It's crazy, right? Hello? Ah, shit. Arm wrestle for first place. We're trying. Oh, no. Oh, God damn it. Hello? Oh, wait. Now I can hear you. Uh-oh. We're trying. So how are my picks looking? Oh my God, it's another skatesman. Holy shit.
Wait, there's two of me.
Ah! Look, it's you and you. Wait, which one's the real skatesman? Oh, there it is. You killed the other one in the womb. But skatesman, how does it feel to be in Alabama, man? How's it be to be in a new location? Wow.
Sweet home Alabama.
Yeah, where skies are blue. Lord, I'm coming home to you.
Exactly.
Brother. Yeah, but that was a good answer, given my question was so stupid and uninformed, and I should never be an MMA journalist again. But yeah, really exciting week of combat sports. I'm looking forward to it. I hate that John Jones is in any main event or that Paul is fighting, but all the stuff below it is actually pretty exciting. So, Skatesman has to get to the skate park in a few hours so that he could do his shit. So this is going to be a more brief preview and picks for you guys. Oh, hey, it's JVD Media. What's up, man? Good to see JVD. It's also good that Hank the Tank has all his picks, locks and underdogs ready. Let's go, man. My lock is going to be Paddy McCrory. If you remember him from The Ultimate Fighter, he was actually way better than people thought he would be. He beat Mark Holm, a dangerous grappler in South Africa, and then had a really close contest with Robert Valentin, who was the slated favorite to win the whole thing for that season. And he rocked Valentin on the feet before getting out grappled and submitted. So McCrory is actually a really solid prospect. Could end up in the UFC again in the future. But in the meantime, they're giving him sort of a layup here in Ty Palmer, who's had sort of an even record. And people forget, man, Paddy McCrory actually has some power in his mitts. So I actually see him getting a round 1 KO. Good homecoming win for Cage Warriors crowd. So that's my lock. Oh, shit, I'm in the wrong fucking account. Whoops. But, wait, by the way, Skatesman, which event are you looking most forward to? UFC 309 or Rizin?
Oh, I don't even know who's on the Rizin card. Honestly, I'm more excited to get Rizin will probably be the better show, but I'm just so excited to get Stipe and John over with because
yeah,
I feel like we've been talking about this fight for like 2 years, and I just, regardless of the outcome, I just want to see it done and over with.
Yeah, and I want to see Tom Aspinall be the actual heavyweight champion of the world so that we could have some hype on the guy who's actually worth hyping up instead of all this drama he said, she said with the very effeminate John Jones. Rather have Aspinall kicking ass and chewing bubblegum. But instead, Dana loves to lower the prestige and the star power of fighters that aren't the old ones. So finally, that'll be done with. And hopefully Jones can just give the title to Aspinall right in the center of the cage like a bitch. That'd be nice. And then let's see, what is my underdog? Warriors here. Give me 1 second. There we go. I am going to pick Wesley Maya by decision. If you've seen this guy before, I remember seeing his profile picture a few times earlier shows, but this is the Brazilian upset of the card. Wesley Maya has pulled off some incredible feats in his Cage Warriors tenure so far. He's the only guy who's beaten the #1 contender for the promotion's Bantamweight Championship in this show's main event in Shirzad Quadrian. And instead, they're giving him this really tough contender once again, despite only losing to the best. Jose Aldo booking here. But he also dominated an 8-0 Lewis McGrellin Evans with great takedown defense. So this is a striker that you can't really mess with on the ground. And I feel like Alexander Loof is mostly a grappler who's taken on worse competition. So I think Wesley's going to be way better on the feet. If anything, I could see maybe Maya shooting a few takedowns if he wants to. But I think Wesley by decision is the underdog pick here. And Maya adds to the mid-mythos of his family name in MMA. So that's the underdog for Cage Warriors. Cage Warriors always delivers, man. Like 16 fights, 18 fights, and it's almost all finishes. It's just a gory, bloody marathon. It's fun.
Yeah, that's crazy that nobody cares even still with all that.
Yes. Wait,
I certainly don't.
If nobody cares, then how come Hank the Tank does?
You're the only one, buddy. You and Isha.
Yay. Just finished setting up my new brakes. For a bike or something? Nice. Hope Stipe wins so then we can get the fight again. No, please, God. Aspinall will find a way to come in. He's calling him Aspinall? Boo, dude, are you kidding me? He's the only fucking entertaining one at heavyweight. That is a backwards mentality right there. First, actually, you're which is I think you're 22nd right now, just Deadpool. But let's get to Hank the Tank's next lock and underdog. I believe I picked KSW, the Polish roid freaks for the weekend. Obviously, Paul versus Tyson. We're gonna try to make that one as brief as possible. Let me tell you, troopers and grinders. The KSW is having its 100th show, and it's in a pretty big arena too. So this is going to be a pretty hyped up show. All the big names from KSW, if you can even call them big names, and one of them, unfortunately, I think is going to be the victim of Hank the Tank's underdog for the show. A man by the name of Phil DeFree. Yeah, I'm going to go to hell for this one. He's just going to kill me, regardless of the outcome of this fight. But I am taking good old Darko Stosic by round 2 KO. Phil DeFries is his heavyweight GOAT outside of the UFC, and he has good reason to claim that title. He's defended his KSW heavyweight title 10 times over 6 years, which is something else, especially at regional MMA. But he barely squeaked out a decision win against UFC reject Augusto Sakai. I got lit up on the feet, got very lucky with his takedowns, and some even thought he lost by decision. They were wrong, but it was a close enough fight where people were asking. And meanwhile, I just think that Darko Stosic, he actually gave Phil DeFree one of his toughest tests as a heavyweight champion. This is a rematch, and he just exhausted himself in the 5th round. But he was doing fairly well on the feet against DeFree, and now I think the difference in age is going to be way more apparent for this one. I think he stuffs a few of DeFree's takedowns in the 1st round and then sleeps them because we're in KSW and it's fucking Polish power, baby. You know, steroid power. So Stosic eats up DeFree like he ordered him with a Big Mac and a drink and Mickey D's trust. There you go. Rip Phil DeFree. Isha will never forgive me. And then my lock for KSW is going to be a man by the name of Arkadiusz Wojcik. I have him by round 1 KO. Meme fight Brazilian squash match time. This time on the chopping block, it's Mateusz Scheffel, a flabby dude ironically named Ufa, who's getting his shit rocked by every new toy on the block, from Zero Elbow Giants in PFL to the Roid Freaks in KSW. He miraculously scored a decision win against a 25-10 guy, but he only goes to decisions at heavyweight, not a good sign. And meanwhile, this really tall glass of water, Arkadiusz Wojcik, I hope I got his pronunciation right. He gets in one exchange with this guy, and he lands a single punch. Scheffel's probably going to go down. It's how zero drug tested KSW works. So, unless Mateus hijacks a plane or something, I don't see any threat to this high tower. Give me Arkadiusz Wojcik. There you go. That's it for KSW. And I believe that's it for regional MMA.
No,
as
thank
well.
God.
Yeah, Skatesman is on a schedule, man. We gotta go. So, which card do you want to break down first?
Probably just get to the UFC.
Okay.
But I mean, okay. So, did you make picks for like the whole Paul Tyson card?
I only did it for 3 championship fights.
Well, I mean, I don't even want to make a pick on the main event, but I guess we
Yeah.
can just quickly talk about that.
Sure.
If you'd
Give
like.
me 1 second. I'll pull it up. But what's your reasoning here, Skatesman? Why must you talk about this? Other than that, Hank the Tank's going to do his fight companion, literally in a couple hours.
Yeah, Hank the Tank fight companion here in just a few hours, right?
Yes. 2:30.
Yeah. So, I actually know a lot of people that are, like some of my family, like younger family members, are actually going to Dallas to watch the fight.
Wow.
So, like I think we should just touch on the fact that it's probably going to be one of the biggest fights, like of all time. I hate I'm even saying that. One of the biggest fights of all time, most watched. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's going to be on Netflix. It's going to be big.
It's going to be huge, and it, not like important in any way, shape, or form, but significant. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, though, it's a total farce. It's probably the dumbest thing ever. I have a lot of respect for Isha not covering this.
Mm-hmm.
We're a smaller channel, so you know what, you want, if you feel like you want to watch it, that's all on you. But it's probably the dumbest thing ever in the history of anything.
It is, and
it just goes to show you that we're living in idiocracy. That movie, you know what I'm saying? Where
I know it, man.
58-year-old Mike Tyson is going to fight fucking Jake Paul on Netflix.
People are going to eat it up.
It's the stupidest thing ever, and I'm ashamed to, be a combat sports fan this weekend, especially with the UFC main event. Just the whole thing's dumb. But as far as a prediction, I won't give a prediction. I just hope that Mike Tyson wins.
Yeah, anyway. I do too.
But Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano is actually going to be a really good fight.
Yeah.
They've already fought once. Their fight was amazing. It was one of the best women's boxing fights there was. They beat the hell out of each other, so that's going to steal the show. And look, that'll be fun, at least.
Yeah, I got Serrano to win that one by decision, just because I liked her work in the first fight, and I think she just keeps on improving after that fight. So yeah. I got her to just eke out a decision, and then I got Barrios by knockout as well against Abel Ramos, and then Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I'm going to join you, Skatesman. I'm not going to give my prediction, so let's all just hope that he wins. It's all relative. Yes, MTV, their TRBs, late T4s for my new 2000 bike. Lovely. Can you get Skate to say, just Deadpool, it'll be okay?
No. Probably because he thinks I look like Wolverine.
Yeah, that's yes, exactly. That is true. And they're going to both like murder me together. And that's not for my best interest. Ask Skatesman which crypto he's holding. Yeah, what is that crypto you got on your screen right now, Skatesman?
That's a skate coin. Invest at www.thisisnotascam.com and sign up with my promo code Scamming for Life.
Yeah, sponsored by Hamzat Chimaev as well.
No, it's sponsored by AG1.
Yes, and Karate Combat.
Yeah.
I'm the only trooper here. The rest of you are grinders because you all downloaded the Grinder app. That is probably true. So I'll just leave that one alone. Yeah, very, very funny. The epitome of comedy. He should hang out with Richard Pryor and develop his craft. But then we got Rizin Landmark 10, and after that UFC. Do you want to go through Rizin first?
Well, what's even on Rizin? I can't see the screen right now, but
all right, well, let's just do a quick rundown then. I don't have to give Hank the Tank's picks for it. I might do like a rapid ass, like what Hank the Tank is picking, just in case people need to know. That's fine. But let's look at the fight card. Just so that you can pique Skatesman's interest. They're actually
quite Izawa on the card.
Ashizawa is on the card. He's in the main event.
Seika Izawa, she.
Oh no, not the goat, not the atomweight goat.
Well, I mean, what are we even doing here?
That is true. What's the point of even living anymore?
Yeah.
But take a look at hold on. There we go. Here we go. Here's the card. So here's the main event. Has Maruyama taking on Mr. Ashizawa.
Yeah, Ashizawa is a kickboxer.
Yes.
Who is doing MMA now, and he had probably one of the best fights I've ever seen against Koji Tanaka. It was a fantastic fight.
Big time
fight.
fight.
His nickname is Cozy, whatever. Anyway, I think a J is a K also, or a J is also a Z in Japan or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know who the fuck he's fighting, but if Ashizawa's fighting, it'll be a banger, guaranteed.
Yeah, I can't believe some people are picking Maruyama against Ashizawa. That dude was putting the butt whooping on Kuzi. And I think Maruyama's washed, honestly. And then have you ever heard of a woman by the name of Ayaka Hamazaki?
Yeah, so Hamazaki, it's like Hamasaki or something. She was like the longtime Rizin champ before Seika Izawa subbed her. So yeah, she's getting old and washed. Who's she fighting?
She's fighting a Korean by the name of Yuri Shim.
Well, there you go. Probably just a bounce back fight for her. She's a good submission artist, but nobody holds a candle to Seika Izawa. So
that is true. Yeah,
peasants.
She could be in any fucking division. She'll submit Kayla Harrison. So watch out.
Aspinall.
Yeah, her too. She's gonna clip Tom with the right. Whoa!
Oh yeah, easy.
Tom's dropped the first time in his whole career. If I had Hank in my ear whilst controlling a vehicle at top speed, I'd make a quick right turn. Yes, and if Skatesman was on Discord having to deal with just Deadpool spam, he'd probably plunge it over a cliff as well. Oh, sniff. Yeah, well, to do that, he'd have to die. Wow, you really understood that one, Sean Moody. Good job. Hope Tyson bites Jake's face off.
That would be awesome.
Wait,
hold on. I was thinking about this. What if John starts losing, the fight, right? And he does a Mike Tyson-esque illegal move. Wouldn't that just be full circle craziness?
Yeah, but I'd also say that he was literally biting off of Nate Diaz pulling the guillotine on Jake Paul. The illegal shit's happened before, but Tyson would elevate it to a whole new level. He already slapped Jake Paul, so who knows what that madman's going to do next. Be a good way for him to lose, honestly, and he'd never be able to repair that ear ever again, which would be nice. She used to go by the name Ayaka. What the?
Well, it sounds like there's a bunch of nobodies fighting on Rizin.
Yeah, not even on Discord with you.
Not anymore. Like there's a bunch of nobodies fighting on Rizin.
Like Chael Sonnen, he left the Discord forever. Hank the Tank W twice over. What a horrible example of a cause for that.
Ignore me, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, Igor Tanabe though, you know Igor, right?
Yeah, honestly, it sounds like a bunch of nobodies are on this card.
All right.
I'm gonna watch it. It'll be fun, but who even cares?
But if Skatesman doesn't get a finish in the first fight, it's trash. The Rizin card is trash. So you better deliver, Rizin. Better be nonstop.
Dude, that card was trash.
To some. But man, UFC.
The card sucked ass. That one that we argued over.
Shiny new keys, Skatesman. Shiny new keys. Looks, it's UFC 309. Wonderful card. Oh yes. What a great fight card in New York. So it's got to be even better, right? We never had a bad card in New York. We have.
I remember. I think it was last year at MSG. One of the scorecards that was read, they were bringing it out for Bruce Buffer to read it, and then a referee ran into the ring and he started writing numbers on it. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. I
he added it up wrong and he started changing shit. So yeah, no, just because it's at the Mecca MSG doesn't always mean it's better.
Exactly. So let's move on down to the opener. By the way, I forgot Hank the Tank has to do a rapid fire of his Rizin picks just in case there are those who want to get him. 1 second.
All right. Well, I will put the phone down and hit the vape for a little bit then.
Sounds good.
All right.
When you got to deal with Hankus Tankus for literally 30 minutes, it's too much, man. You got to hit it up. Ain't that the truth? All right, so let me go through the list. Masashi Inada versus Katsuyoshi Sasaki. I am picking Inada by round 1 knockout, classic Rizin style. Hiroaki Suzuki versus Kyoma Akimoto. I'm going with Kyoma Akimoto by round 1 KO, another fucking Rizin KO. Daisuke Tatsumi versus Sho Hiramatsu. I have got Daisuke Tatsumi by round 2 submission. Taito Kubota versus Junya Ibino. I got Kubota by round 1 sub. Kyung Pyo Kim against Daigo Kuramoto. I am picking the veteran Kim by decision. Rikuto Shirakaya versus Migaram Gasanzade. I'm going with Gasanzade by round 1 knockout. Tsuyoshi Sudario versus Hisaki Kato. I'm going with Sudario by round 1 KO because he is a fat sumo man.
Dude, you sound like Japanese Boomhauer right now.
I'm saying, man. It's Sago Yakumo. Woo, man. I'm going with there.
It sounds like you're just speaking gibberish.
That is true. Because you're you bigot, you can't understand Japanese.
Trump,
I'm going with
Roll Tide Roll. I'm here in Alabama now.
Woo! That was actually a diss track of Neil Young that wasn't even meant to be a fun song.
I've been learning about Southern accents.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
what did you?
Apparently, this kind means you're poor.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a drawn out Southern accent, that means you have some money.
Well, I love that accent, the first one, because I'm getting bored of shit reading out these damn Rizin picks. But it's what I gotta do, you understand?
I tell you what.
Yee! So anyway, I'm going with Yoshihiro by decision. Daichi Boomhauer. Daichi Kid
No, I am not Jewish.
Ali Beck, yeah, we know that, blatantly clear. Ali Beck Gadzamatov. I'm going with Gadzamatov by round 1 submission. Yutaro Muramoto versus Tony Laramie. I'm going with the Laramie Project by decision.
Tony Laramie? Wait a second.
Yes, Tony Laramie.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he's just some random ass Canadian that's in Japan for some reason. He's the number 1 flyweight in Canada. You got to give him his props. He's a mean guy, eh?
Sure he is.
He's gonna shove that maple syrup down your throat, and you like it.
Oh, that stuffed tomatoes for old Japanese feller there.
I'm a good friend of Mike Malotz. He's gonna be there at the show, eh? I'm sorry, Mike. And then Yuya Shibata is taking on Hiroya Kondo. I'm going with Shibata by round 1 submission. Yuki Ito is taking on Jung Hyung Lee, and I'm going with Lee. Wait, am I? No, I'm going with fucking Ito. What am I doing? I'm going with Ito.
You don't even know what the fuck you're picking on this fucking nobody card.
I know what I'm picking. I just made a mistake, all right? Igor Tanabe is taking on Marcos. Yeah. Igor Tanabe is taking on Marcos Yoshio de Souza. And I'm going with Tanabe, Frankenstein's monster, the fat ninja, by round 1 sub. And Vugar Karamov's taking on Kazumasa Majima. I'm going with Karamov by round 2 sub. Ayaka Hamazaki, inferior to Seika Izawa, is taking on Yuri Shim. Still going with Hamazaki.
Thank you for noting that she is indeed inferior to Seika Izawa. Seika Izawa already subbed her.
Yeah, as is every woman on the planet. And then Shoji Maruyama is taking on Ashizawa, and I'm going with classic-ass underdog Ashizawa, round 1 KO, shocking Rizin.
Well,
round 1 knockout.
He could get out-wrestled, I guess, if the other guy is like a wrestler guy.
That is true. But still, I think he's going to pull a Shama and just hit him with that big left hook before he can even get the chance. Slap the shit out of Paul, brother. Sean Moody, what's so special about you? You're liked on mass, and I have a problem with it. Because Sean Moody is the leprechaun, and he's also a veteran of No Chill FC. So best watch your mouth, boy, before the leprechaun takes those Lucky Charms out your belly.
So King's World's asking if we're going to go through the boxing card. No, we're a little pressed for time.
I think
we'll be doing a fight companion, so I'm sure he can give you like all his picks and shit before they happen. So.
And, Moody might actually place ahead of Hank the Tank this time because he's mostly got very identical picks to what the Tank has this time around. But I am up on Sean Moody by quite the amount, so it won't matter anyway. Hank is in a July. Oh, that's what you were responding to.
Hey,
obviously not.
Hank, listen, when you stoop down to the level of a man like Sean Moody, you lose anyway. So.
That is true.
Even having this pick'em competition with him is a bad look for you.
Well, I guess ignore your bullies. But he's a good friend of the channel, so why not? I'm having fun. Hank, translate the illiterate message for me, please. We are not going through the boxing card. Too many chinky sound. Jesus Christ, dude. Can you give me your picks and props for the Tyson versus Paul fight, please? Now I'm placing the parlay right now. All right, there we go. But let's look at our opening contest for the UFC 309 card, shall we? That was brutal. Veronica Hardy taking on Eduarda Mora. What do you think of this fight, Skatesman?
Eduarda Mora isn't she like? Don't they call her Ronda?
Yes. Help me, Ronda.
Okay.
Help me, Ronda.
Okay. So it's kind of a tougher one. Like Eduarda Mora has one pretty clear way to win, and that's the grappling. But Veronica Hardy, I believe she may be younger in this spot, and she's looked improved over time. So I mean, if you're thinking Eduarda's gonna win, probably want to go sub. But I'm gonna go with Veronica Hardy, and she might even get a finish because her hands have been looking good. But I'm gonna pick her by decision.
All right. I am also going with Veronica Hardy by decision. Eduarda Mora goes by the nickname Ronda, just as Idaho Skatesman said. Pretty sure I know who they're comparing her to with that one. A very fitting nickname because she's getting beat from pillar to post on the feet by Veronica Hardy. She chose a great partner and coach for her career at flyweight in Dan Hardy. Can't say the same of another women's flyweight whose head is currently shaved bald like she's undergoing chemo and right now probably being called the best over and over again by a dude 13 years her senior. Anyway, Dan Hardy has helped make her a more complete.
Wait. Are you talking about Veronica Hardy?
No, I'm talking about Thug Rose.
Yeah, but what? Wait. Were you saying that because Veronica Hardy is dating Dan Hardy, and that's why? So, and Dan Hardy is considerably older than her.
Wow. I guess they're pretty similar.
It's actually pretty comparable.
Wow. But that didn't start too early, did it? Was she 18 at least?
Well, I mean, she's been back in the UFC as Veronica Hardy, and I think they got married.
Right.
So it's been going on for a while.
Yeah, but the question is when, because Pat Barry pulled one when they were
sure. Good point.
Yeah. So anyway, Dan Hardy has helped make her a more complete and greatly improved fighter at flyweight. And I think she'll have even better takedown defense than her last fight with J.J. Aldrich in preparation for this fight against a former strawweight in Eduarda Mora moving up. One of the biggest strawweights in UFC today and still somehow taller than Veronica in this matchup. She's probably going to miss weight too. However, I think she's still going to be undisciplined going into this fight.
Yeah, the weigh-ins already happened, Hank. How did you not know that?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I was scheduling this for Thursday, okay? But something got in the way. Anyway, when that's a defining trait, it's hard to abandon it. And she might just come in overweight again. She probably did. Regardless of whether she misses weight in there or not, I think Hardy's got a good enough team and camp that she stuffs a few of Mora's early takedown attempts and starts looking more like Edward Moron as this fight goes on. Desperately shooting for takedown after takedown because she has nothing else in her game. And Hardy will rise to the occasion and stuff her shit easier and easier. At least enough that she outclasses her for the first 2 rounds and then allows a takedown or 2 in the third, just like the Aldrich fight. We haven't seen Hardy as the finishing type for a while, so there will be no need to stop the fight! That's 2 times now! No need for that.
Oh my God, all the skits and bits, dude.
She'll cruise and outbox her way to a decision win. Easy street. The theme tone of this fight will be Help Me Ronda, and another dub for Veronica. Venezuelan queen. Let's fucking go, dude. And then we got Oban Elliott taking on Basil Hafez. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's read through some comments.
Hold on. That's better.
You guys know how disrespectful I can be, and I came with respect. Well, I'm going with Paul by round 2 KO, okay? That's what I'm going with. So there's your pick, Kingsworld. Are you happy?
Kingsworld, you came in late. We don't even want to talk about that stupid-ass fight.
You know how Asian couples name the children. Jesus Christ. This is getting bad, man. I don't appreciate you culturally appropriating me. Well, he's the leprechaun. No, you did not. Oh, brother. Fuck you, Kingsworld. Anyway, Skatesman, what do you have between Oban and Hafez. I could go
I think
through
this
the
would be
table
a
of
really
two.
good fight. No, I think this is going to be a really good fight. Oban Elliott, he's looked pretty decent, and he has really good microphone work. I imagine he'd be the fan favorite, especially because Ariel Hawani's been blowing him for a long time now. But Basil Hafez, the guy can throw hands, and he can fight. He's not the most skilled guy, doesn't have very high fight IQ. Um, but I think your best bet would be to go Oban Elliott. Can you tell me if he got a submission in his last win?
No, he won by decision, I'm pretty sure. Against
Okay.
Preston Parsons, it's probably hard for him to get a sub.
Yeah, that fucking, yeah. Man, I feel like Oban Elliott's a more skilled guy, like all around. There is a chance that if he fights as stupidly as Basil Hafez does, you know, kind of like how you stoop down to Sean Moody's level to have a pick'em contest with him, it'll probably end up the same way. If Oban Elliott wants to get in a firefight with Basil, he'd probably lose. But I think he's a smarter fighter, more technical. Give me Oban Elliott by decision.
Yep, I am going with Oban Elliott as well. Elliott had a great coming out party, no Jones and no Diddy, against Preston Parsons, showing great technique on the feet and getting the takedowns whenever he needed them. It let the MMA community know that Oban Elliott's here to stay, and I'm going with that line of thinking in this fight against Basil Hafez. Hafez calls himself Habibi or Buddy, as Dana White would put it, Habib. But he's no buddy of drug testing agencies, and he's no buddy of mine, friend. He seemed juiced to the gills against Jack Della Maddalena as a guy outside the UFC drug testing pool showing up on short notice, and got a few takedowns on JDM, who was largely dealing with his first legitimate wrestler in Hafez. It should not have been a split decision either. After that very lucky performance, Hafez then looked like a mess against Mickey Gall, who was beating him up on the feet in moments and largely neutralized his striking wrestling hybrid approach, squeaking out a win in the third round. Against Oban Elliott, I see him getting caught on the perhaps even more in the wrestling. Both are experts, so this fight will largely be decided on the feet. And I'm going with Elliott striking to make the difference over 3 rounds after that great performance against Parsons. This is a new and improved Welsh gangster, and I hope you know the golden rule, Hafez. Never piss off a gangster. Oban Elliott by decision. Pretty easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, our third fight. Speaking of Hafez and Mickey Gall, we got Mickey Gall here on the New York card against Ramiz Brahimaj.
Yeah, so Ramiz Brahimaj, he wasn't always bad. He was a really good grappler. Who did he fight in his last fight?
Who, Mickey Gall or Brahimaj?
Brahimaj.
He has been out of it for a while now.
God, yeah, but he came back recently and lost.
I think it was... shit.
Didn't they have the tail of the tape right in front of you?
Yes, I do. Give me 1 second. Here we go. I believe it was Pickett. I believe it was Jamie Pickett, but I could be wrong. It was Themba Garimbo. No, it was Themba Garimbo.
Right. And Themba he got a decision win, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. So he got out-grappled by Themba. So now, I'm not sure where his wrestling's at. And I don't think he has, really much in the way of hands. But Mickey Gall is, pretty washed. But I think he's been getting some wins as of late, hasn't he?
Wait, what?
I think Mickey Gall is on a little win streak, am I right?
No, he's on a losing streak, but he's looked good in his fights. Because he lost to Hafez, but he dropped him.
Right. I think that Brahimaj doesn't have the hands of Hafez. So I'm actually going to go against... It sounds weird, but I think Mickey Gall's got this one. Whether or not he can finish him, if Themba Garimbo can finish him, I have my doubts of Mickey Gall finishing him. I think it'll be a close fight, 29-28, Mickey Gall decision win.
Yeah, I am also going with Mickey Gall by decision. Skatesman and I are aligned so far on this card. The Gall of some people to think on again, off again, welterweight journeyman Ramiz Brahimaj just dominates the guy who beat the MMA GOAT, CM Punk, is crazy, man. This guy got laid on and beat by lame-ass Themba Garimbo. and Mickey Gall isn't going to have a fighting chance against this guy, Gall seems to have improved in his striking technique from fight to fight, and old Mickey's got some power in those fists too, as we saw with his dropping of somehow lower on this card welterweight, Basel Hafez. It's funny how the UFC works sometimes. And with the old gloves reinstated, we might see that power from Gall double against Brahimaj, who will mostly look to get the fight down to the ground and pull a Themba Garimbo. Once Gall, who has solid BJJ, stuffs a few takedowns or uses assertive counter grappling to get to his feet, the openings will be there to catch Ramiz on the feet, bless you by the way, and do enough damage to earn a unanimous decision win. Also, these guys just have a difference in competition quality. Brahimaj beat Happy Michael Gilmore, who, and before that, lost to Max Griffin and Court McGee. Yuck. Gall lost to Mike Perry and Malott, and put on a good fight against both. He clears Brahimaj and maybe takes a chunk out of his nose instead of his ear this time.
Yeah, that was one of the most brutal injuries. But yeah, if you could help me out by actually reading the tape, to not ask you, that'd be good. Sorry.
For the next fight or this fight?
Yes.
Wait, I said this or the next one. You have to choose one. Is the next fight? Okay, I'll look at the next one. We have a really great heavyweight fight on the prelims, early prelims. We have Marcin Tybura taking on Yonata Deniz.
That's a good one. Marcin Tybura, he's actually he's actually beat people on the feet that he wasn't supposed to before. So it's kind of interesting, you would say like striker versus grappler, which is basically what this is, but it's kind of like GM3, right? Like Marcin Tybura, like he's not very good on the feet, but he somehow is scrappy and effective enough that it works. Obviously against Spivak, he got subbed like pretty quick, and I think this is a really good fight for Yonata Deniz. Obviously not as big a name as Derek Lewis, but actually like a better fight to me personally, to see exactly where he's at in the heavyweight division. Marcin Tybura on his way out, Yonata Deniz coming up pretty quickly up the ranks. So I want to pick Marcin Tybura. Deniz has shown me some good shit. I feel like Tybura's got this, though. I'm actually going to go with him by decision, but I would not be surprised with a submission. But, again, I wouldn't be surprised if Deniz can actually pull this one out and actually finish Marcin Tybura. Would be very impressive, and I would definitely have to stop fading him at this point. Yeah. I'm just not sold on Deniz at this point. I know you are.
And that's why I'm picking Yonata Deniz by round 1 KO. I really like what I've been seeing from Yonata Deniz lately. He gradually stuffed the takedowns of Austin Lane and then literally shut the lights off like his nano chip was just removed. Then he beat the absolute hell out of Carl Williams, hitting him with shots that would have sent other heavyweights to the shadow realm real quick. But Williams has dealt with zero problems on the feet before Deniz because he's a carpetbagging bitch, so his chin was all right in that fight. Marcin Tybura, who was smacked up and gotten out of there instantly by Tommy Aspinall, your real undisputed UFC heavyweight champion, Tom Aspinall, by the way, period. After this last week, there's no doubting who's the king of the heavyweights. The throne's already been vacated. Anyway, Tybura has garbage striking, and against someone with real power on the feet, this guy seems to crumble. And I think Deniz, with his technical, composed ability and freight-trained power, can put him out quickly in this fight. After stuffing a few takedowns from Tybura first, because Deniz knows what he's in for at the start of the fight, and is already adjusting with flying colors, as we saw against a scary takedown artist in Carl Williams. His kickboxing stance helps in getting the underhooks very quickly, and when Deniz uses those to stuff the early attempts of Tybura, there'll be nowhere to go for old Frankenstein's monster. He's getting punched into pieces and placed back in the cemetery where he can finally rest. Trust.
You're not so funny. I'm like, I got cases for both guys. It'd be a really good fight. And Hank's just like, fuck this guy. He's a bum. He's gonna get destroyed.
Well, I just think that Deniz is so used now to
No, I know. He's your new Steve Erceg. Don't worry. I know.
No. I'm just saying that I like his takedown defense as a kickboxer.
Mm-hmm. You're a big fan. I know.
Okay. Well, anyway, and let me finish this by saying, Yonata Deniz is everything that Rebellis Despain should have been, and he'll keep proving it with his first round beatdowns. Okay. There you go. Yeah, I'm doubling down, baby.
blazing.
I mean, did you expect anything else?
Yeah, wipe some of that spit up from your chin there, my friend.
Sorry, I was slightly aroused for a second there. Stipe sleeps John with a nasty right hand. Trust. Let's fucking go, dude. Break those toes. Whatever happened to Themba, said he was going to be welterweight champ by the end of 2025. But he's a champ in The Rock's heart. He's at least a champion to Dwayne Johnson. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
There's been so much shit talk behind my back. Can't even remember. Absolutely astonishing. Yeah, stop twisting my words, man. It's not shit talk about you.
Who? Who said that?
It's just Deadpool. It's only Deadpool.
Oh.
What's up, boys? I'm at the casino watching the stream. Let's fucking go Combat Sports today. Good to see you, brother.
Hell yeah. Good to see
Always
you.
wants to tune in. Always wants to tune into the preview and pick streams.
He's the man, dude. And yeah, if you guys haven't, follow him on Twitter.
Yes, sir. Bet everything on red. I agree.
Don't lose all your money on video poker like I did.
Marcin, yeah. Unless you have free money on you, in which case it's okay. Marcin Tybura, great guy. I'd love to fight him. Marcin Tybura. You couldn't fight your way out of a wet paper bag, JVD. I'm on Denise. I agree. Wait, are you on Denise, Degenerate Dane? No, did he? Just making sure. What are you talking about? Where are you at, Skatesman? Where are you at, George? Says Degenerate Dane.
In Birmingham, Alabama.
Let's go.
Hopefully I don't get shot.
JVD. Oh, Jesus Christ. Stop fighting in the chat, guys. Anyway, let's move on to our next fight. After this wonderful banger.
That's the whole point of the show. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot for a second. Sorry. We got Roberto Romero taking on David Onama. Short notice fight. And who? Who the fuck is Roberto Romero, man? He is stepping in on short notice for someone that David Onama was supposed to face. Who was supposed to be his original opponent?
I don't know. Who fucking cares?
I think he was supposed to be someone pretty solid. It can determine how he approaches this fight. He was supposed to take on Lucas Almeida, but instead he's got Roberto Romero. Yay.
Yeah,
well,
wait. Who was fighting again?
David Onama and the only Roberto Romero.
I don't do. Okay, wait. Can you read the tell of the tape? Like, what's this Roberto Romero's record?
It is 8-3-1. He mostly gets. Well, I mean, he gets different forms of wins. He's gotten KOs, he's TKOs, he's gotten submissions, he's gotten decisions, but he lost to a 5-2 guy by decision 10 months ago.
Yeah. David Onama KO next fight.
All right. So yeah,
KO
I have
KO2.
I am by round 2 KO. Well, God damn, can't help but have the similar picks to Hank the Tank. What the fuck is going on here, dude?
That's funny.
This is legitimately a conspiracy. But then we have what I think. Well, actually, I'm not going to say anything about it because I want to hear Skatesman's reaction. But we have our next fight between Jim Miller and Damon Jackson.
So, Damon Jackson, longtime featherweight, recent lightweight. This is taking place at lightweight, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Jim Miller. Obviously, I don't think we need to introduce Jim Miller. The thing is that. Yeah, the thing is Damon Jackson is always gonna give you a fight, right? But he doesn't always last. Jim Miller, on the other end, though he did, who did he lose to on 300?
He lost to Bobby Green. Holby Green.
Yeah, he got his ass whipped by Bobby Green. But most of the time, Jim Miller is he's in it for the duration of the fight. Unless he gets finished. I feel like Damon Jackson at this point in his career is just taking so much damage. He's going to come out real hot, and then if it doesn't work and he starts getting hurt, he's done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that plays into Jim Miller's favor in this fight, and I am going to pick Jim Miller to probably get. He might even finish Damon Jackson, dude. Then that sucks because I really do like Damon Jackson's style and. He always puts on fun fights, but yeah, I think he's just about cooked at this stage. Give me Jim Miller. Damon Jackson can still finish this fight, though. That's really his only chance to win, in my opinion, because I don't think he can outlast Jim Miller in a 3-round fight. personally. I think he'll win the first round. I think Jim Miller wins the second and third, like pretty handily. So give me Jim Miller's second round knockout.
Sadly, I have an opposite perspective to you, Skatesman. I have Damon Jackson by decision. So Restored Hairline Man is going to get it done. This card's full of picks I don't want to make, which is fitting since it's a Jones-led card. And this is one of those picks I hate to make. Restored Hairline Damon Jackson, despite being a former featherweight, is still taller than 42-year-old Jim Miller and now has even more weight and muscle put on for his wrestling style. No doubt Jim's going to catch him with a few shots, but then he's getting pressured against the cage or even driven down to the mat. And both those possible approaches and outcomes from Damon is going to leave Miller exhausted in the last 2 rounds of their fight, in my opinion. Remember that Jim was finding success early on, but then just got picked apart in the second half of the fight by the nonstop forward pressure of Bobby Green. He didn't know how to shift the momentum of the fight back toward his favor, and I think the same thing is happening if he can't effectively counter the grappling of a taller and heavier Damon Jackson. The A10 is going to start running out of fuel come the second round, and then it's over from there. Unfortunately, he's just at an age, I think, where it's hard to come back when you're at a disadvantage, and I think he is in this fight. Damon's the leech, and while I've always thought that's a stupid nickname for him, I will say it's appropriate here since he's going to be leeching off the popularity and timelessness of a weathered vet in Jim Miller by beating him in what I think will be a boring fight. I want this dude to go back down to featherweight already so he can get chinned again and know his place in the UFC. But instead, he's taking on Jim Miller. But since Skatesman's picking against me, I have a lot more confidence. Jesus Christ. It's the Punisher. My God.
So I just want to address like Deadpool calling me out on saying dumb shit. I understand how that sounds, but I just think that Damon Jackson is more prone to getting finished at this stage in his career than Jim Miller is. Even though Jim Miller has been in a lot of dogfights, and I believe he did get finished by Bobby Green. Am I
right? He did not get finished. He got beaten up for 3 rounds, which was really sad to see. That was one of the saddest fights I've seen all year.
And even in that fight, like he was in it the whole time. You know what I'm saying? He didn't end up getting finished, but I guess that's what I mean. I feel like Damon Jackson is more damaged goods than Jim Miller is at this point. And I feel like when it comes down to the exchanges, like both guys getting hurt, I think Jim Miller has a little more miles left than Damon Jackson. So.
Nice. Well, let me tell you, man, you grown out the facial hair wear, man. I like the look. Looking slick, man. Anyway, next fight. What we got? Who doing it? Oh, it's Chris Weidman, the eye poke god, against Eric Anders, the all-American eye poker. What do you think about this fight, Skate?
So Eric Anders, not like an exceptional middleweight. By the way, I hate middleweight. In case you guys didn't know, middleweight's a terrible division. Always has been.
A lot of people don't like it.
Besides when Yoel Romero and Bobby Knuckles were having their little deal. But yeah, Eric Anders, though he's not like an exceptional middleweight, he's like well-rounded, right? He can wrestle, he can strike. Chris Weidman, on the other end, though he was a former champ, and also well-rounded in his own right, at the peak of his powers, and still is to some degree. I can't, in good faith, pick him to win a fight against even a mid-level. I mean, I don't even know if Eric Anders is mid-level. He's pretty bottom tier middleweight at this point. I still can't pick Chris Weidman against him, honestly. Wow. I would love to see Chris Weidman get finished in this fight.
Yeah, I think a lot of would. Yeah.
But
especially since he's being given the old gloves in New York. He's a fucking villain going into this fight.
I mean, no, he's not, because the crowd's
he's the hometown hero. He is the hometown hero.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I can't in good faith pick him. Obviously coming off that leg break, he's just totally washed, and I'm gonna actually pick Eric Anders to beat him by decision.
All right, I am picking Chris Weidman by decision. They really gave Chris Weidman the one guy other than Bruno Silva that he can beat at middleweight, huh? Seriously, what are the chances of Weidman getting such a good hand for his return? Mid Tavares, mid-weight Bruno Silva, and now mid-Anders. Maybe lower mid. Good stuff for the eye-poking victim complex haver from New York. Chris Weidman's better in wrestling than Eric Anders. I just know that will be the case. And even if Anders shoots the takedown first, I know Weidman's stuffing it. And I think Chris Weidman at the ripe old age of 40 is still more technical on the feet than football player Eric Anders. And he outpoints him through jabs and takedown attempts for at least 2 out of the 3 rounds for a unanimous decision win. Bruno's scarier than this guy. Gave me the old man to pull through once again. Plus, UFC brought back the old gloves, so Weidman could get his eye pokes in. And that's a huge boost going into this supposedly fair fight. Eric Anders may be a boy, but we're in New York City territory, and Chris's dad will most likely be in the crowd. So he's still my boy. It's your boy versus my boy. I'm going with my boy. So let's go, Chris Weidman. Anyway, next fight on the card. We have, this is going to be a good one. I'm excited for this one. Also a little nervous for this one because there's one guy I really want to win in this one. But it's Jonathan Martinez up against Marcus McGee at bantamweight.
So this is actually, though Marcus McGee has looked really good in his UFC run up to this point, I think this is like one of his toughest fights. Just because the length and the distance management that Jonathan Martinez can employ in this fight. I think McGee by knockout or Martinez by decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, generally the safer way to go is the decision. I don't think that Jonathan Martinez should be like too derailed after his loss to Aldo. So in that regard, I will go Jonathan Martinez by decision. Maybe a late finish by him.
Wow.
Maybe accumulating a bunch of damage on McGee.
From the leg kicks, of course.
Exactly, yeah, and then getting like that 3rd round finish. But at the same time, like you can't really just outright disrespect what McGee brings to the table. I think this will be, as you said just before we started, like a really good fight, maybe even one of the better ones on the card. So yeah,
I agree.
Give me Martinez by decision and possible late round, 3rd round stoppage.
Yeah. Two Smelly Fingers asks a good question. Where does Anders' neck and head begin?
Nobody knows.
They should look at an X-ray for that. I'm going with Marcus McGee by round 2 KO, actually. Nice. For a little while, I thought this was also a fight where I had to pick the guy I didn't want to see win. But diving further into how both guys' styles clash, I think Maniac Sean Moody, Maniac McGee, clears this one. Why? Because McGee is small, stocky, and has huge power in his fists, especially when he's boxing in the pocket. Now tell me that description doesn't match Jose Aldo's fight style just a little bit. I know it's tomato, but a conventional stinging boxer is what put down Martinez in his last fight. And I don't think those leg kicks are going to be enough against a fighter who switches stances and finds a way to get into the pocket in every single one of his fights. He finds a way, man. Sure, Marcus has taken on worse competition, but then again, Martinez's finishes have come against old-ass Cub Swanson and Adrian Yanez. Not exactly the most frightening of opponents. He had a good decision win against Said Nurmagomedov, sure, but that was more of a chess match, whereas this is going to be a war where one guy's going to finish the other. And I think that's McGee 9 times out of 10. No court, McGee. I see McGee hurting Martinez in the first and then finishing him in the second. He's there to be hit in the pocket, and he's been knocked out before, so I think he can be again. McGee isn't a fighter from the lab like Kyler Phillips. He's a dog in there and sticks to the game plan of knocking the other guy out. And that's what will win him the fight here. MMA Skatesman represent. He's doing this one for the Skatesman.
What?
Because he also did skateboarding before the UFC.
Did skateboarding?
He was a skateboarder.
He
He partook in the skateboarding hobby.
Jeez, that's like when people say like you do weed. Do you do weed? It's like you smoke it. Anyway. This will be a good fight.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I just got here to the skate park, so let's get this thing going, man.
We'll keep going. Our next big fight, we're more than halfway through. We got Mauricio Rufy taking on James Lawntop. I wonder what their intentions for this one are, Skatesman.
Was it Lawntop, the guy that came into the UFC? Yeah. So Mauricio Rufy, obviously part of the Fight Nerds camp. Can you read off his last couple wins in the UFC?
Mauricio Rufy. They were against Jamie Malarkey, and that was his debut. And then in the Contender Series, he beat
fucking cooked Malarkey too. And Malarkey is dangerous for about a round. Give me Rufy. Give me Rufy by KO. KO1.
All right, sounds good. I am going with Mauricio Rufy by round 1 KO as well. Go with the fight nerd every single time this year, my friends. They are sweeping 2024, but beyond the mystique of their win streak, let's talk about this one fighter versus fighter. James Lontop allowed himself to get taken down and choked out within a round easily by Chris Padilla. For that alone, this guy's going to get chinned by Mauricio Rufy in round 1. And yeah, Taco Padilla has looked solid since. And yes, Lontop put in a better effort against Slava Claus, but Slava was catching him early, piecing him up in that first round. And I guarantee that Slava has a fraction of the power that Mauricio Rufy does. He's called one shot for a reason, and he might just put out Lollipop with one shot if he keeps his chin open for the taking. I think Lontop honestly isn't UFC material. Clearly not Goku, as his nickname would have you believe. I know I was a sucker at first, and that's why Dana and Hunter are feeding him to the wolves on the main card of a pay-per-view to get him out of there and put another fight nerd over in front of a big crowd. By God, that's exactly what he's going to do. Round 1 KO.
Deadpool says, stop skating and get Hank to get a job, you bum. Yeah, so you can't actually drive around the country and not have like some amount of money. So just a little insight there. Skate sounds very offended. McGee skates. No, it's just the way the question was posed to me. It's like,
do you do skateboarding, Skatesman?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I actually knew Marcus McGee skated. He actually has like a good little interview where he kind of like relates skating to fighting. Kind of interesting. But no, I like Marcus McGee. It's just
me too.
I think this is a tough matchup.
Yeah.
I told you to get Hank to get a job. He's his own man. You know what I'm saying?
I've been applying for jobs, and I had a job a couple.
My man just graduated college.
Yeah, exactly. I always use that one against me because me and you are doing well with this podcast. Anyway, let's move on to the next fight on this card. We got Karine Silva taking on Vivian Araujo. Women's fight in the main card.
Who's Karine Silva? Can you read off her record?
She beat Ariana Lipski da Silva by decision. That's where the da Silva joke, the whole thing started. And then she beat some random ass Marina Moroz by Gilly Goose Gang, and beat Ketlin Souza by knee bar. That is pretty impressive.
Dude, I don't remember this girl, Karine Silva, though I do know she's decent. Viviana Araujo, like same thing, like not really like particularly good or memorable, but decent. I think that Karine Silva is just like slightly the name I remember a little more. And I think she is just more like a more skilled version of Araujo, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Karine Silva decision.
Yeah, pretty easy pick to make here. Although Karine Silva did not look the best against Ariana in their fight, so that's the one thing to take away from that. But I am going with Karine Silva by decision. Main card mid-off in women's MMA coming through. Killer Karine Silva, who put on a very disappointing performance against Ariana Lipski da Silva, and Vivi Araujo, who has been getting beat by every contender possible at women's flyweight, except Jennifer Maia, who isn't fighting for the UFC anymore. I don't think Vivian presents as much of a threat as Ariana did, and at worst, this becomes another boring fight where Karine Silva squeaks out the decision win. It seems inside the rankings, all that scary finishing ability of Karine Silva goes out the window because she's honestly been looking like a shell of herself in the cage as of late. But that shell's still good enough to beat a flyweight whose sole purpose seems to be to get fed to contenders in the division. And with such an age gap and equal physical stats, I'm going with the prospect to outlast Araujo for another boring decision win. Honestly, let's put old Karine up against Natalia Silva. Let's see who the real Silva is to be scared of. Karine's going to be a victim, not a killer, if Natalia gets a piece of her.
It's funny that you get so mad when people move up the rankings and they don't get finishes. It's like, it's weird. It's like, as you move up the rankings, like the fights get harder. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, but it just seems with her that she was getting pressured and just didn't have a moment of like, oh man, she got good timing on that. Oh, she got her down. Like all the things that made her a contender, like she didn't show in that fight. So this specifically, it felt like Silva wasn't, sticking with the game plan.
I think you're just thinking about it too hard. And yes, Deadpool, vaping and skating like a true degenerate loser.
Like a fucking Chad. That's what he is. Anyway, next fight. He's the new Tony Hawk. Trust. Our feature fight for the main card at UFC 309. Also, again, Just Deadpool.
So-
I'm 2-0 against you in a poll. So watch your mouth, boy.
What? In a poll?
Nothing. I basically banned him from social media in multiple spots because he foolishly said, if I have a poll against me and you and I lose, I leave these Discords and leave YouTube forever. And so I beat him, and so now he's sticking to his word.
This is MMA. There should always be a definitive ending to a fight. Watch Rizin, dude.
Mm-hmm. Wait.
But
oh yeah.
no,
Okay.
So Bo Nickel obviously had a lot of like hype coming in. Then he's gotten some decision wins where he hasn't looked super good, and especially that one against Cody Brundage kind of soured a lot of fans. The thing about Paul Craig, though, is he is just really bad and gets hit a lot, has no head movement.
Yep.
So I guess, like if you think that Bo Nickel hasn't been improving, pick him by decision. But I'm of the mind that Paul Craig is just really bad, and Bo Nickel has been improving. So I think this is a good opportunity for him to actually get a knockout here. And I'm going to actually pick him by knockout in the first round.
Very smart of the Skatesman, because I'm going with Bo Nickel by round 1 KO as well. And if anything, I think my pick was affirmed with Bo Nickel at the press conference, where he was like, yeah, the one thing with Paul Craig is you don't want to get caught up in his guard because then he'll throw up a submission. And that's the one thing to be scared of with Paul Craig. And we saw how to beat him if you're a solid enough striker and grappler like Kyle Baralho, who just pieced him up on the feet and then put him out cold, because Paul Craig only knows how to throw a leg kick and is pretty mid on the feet, like literally doesn't know how to strike on the feet. Whereas Bo Nickel, we've seen him have crazy ass knockouts every once in a while on Val Woodburn. He's just boom, boom, 1-2. So like his striking can actually be pretty effective when it's against guys who aren't as good at him as striking. And I think Bo Nickel's smart enough that he knows he spent a little bit of time in the guard of Cody Brundage and in the guard of Jamie Pickett, a little too long. I think he knows that he needs to put out Paul Craig on the feet in order to win this one. And I think he's talented enough that he's just going to hit it, crack him with the 1-2 and put him out, because that chin already got smashed by Kyle Baralho. So why not knock him out on the feet? I'm going with Bo Nickel by round 1 KO. Pretty easy stuff.
That is a crazy, who is this guy? Not in the AM, bro. Jeez. Yeah. I've gotten the Muslim thing before, but actually I'm Mexican. So sorry, buddy. Sorry to ruin your hopes and dreams.
Yeah, they project their Jewish interests onto people who look at. I like the idea of 1 round until somebody taps or goes unconscious, just like a real fight with girls.
Yeah, but they already tried that with I guess Hoist Gracie versus Sakuraba was it like 10-minute rounds until somebody goes out, and I think it lasted like an hour and fucking 30 minutes. Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, exactly. And Joe Rogan, he recommended that as well, and it's turned out like fucking shit.
Well, no. I think what Joe Rogan recommended was 1 10-minute round and then a 5-minute round.
Yeah.
But Joe Rogan's also insane. So
yeah, absolutely. I like the idea of 1 round, no time limit. Blah 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 blah. Bring Deadpool back. No.
Wait. Why'd you ban him?
I did not ban him. I did not ban him.
Okay, I was like, no, don't ban him. I don't mind Deadpool. He's a crazy person, but
yeah,
that's the fan base we got. So
he just got in his own head and decided to have to pull a jail son. And I beat you. You remove your wrench. You beat me. I leave it forever. And he's still stuck in that.
All right, let's go to the next fight.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, so we get to our co-main event for the evening. Charles Oliveira taking on Michael Chandler. Give me a breakdown of this one, Skatesman.
So I really do like Michael Chandler. I know that's unpopular, but I fucking like Michael Chandler, dude. One thing you cannot say about Michael Chandler is he does not put it all on the line and go fucking balls out in every fight, dude. He's a fucking very exciting fighter to watch. That being said,
sure.
I've long since said that Charles Oliveira is like looking kind of washed these days. I know that he damn near finished Arman Sarukian in the waning seconds of their fight. I understand all of that. It's really hard to pick Michael Chandler in this spot because much like Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, these guys they don't have the ground game to hang with a guy like Charles. And Justin and Dustin, got subbed by him for that reason.
Lightweights.
And I really would love to see Michael Chandler get this one done, but I can't in good faith pick him. You know what? Fuck it. I'm picking him to get a knockout.
Wow.
Let's go first round knockout, Michael Chandler.
And it might just come true, man, because Michael Chandler is actually one of the more valuable underdogs to pick on this card. So a lot of people are going with the Chandler train. But
I mean, yeah, it's just it's really hard to pick him though, because he can wrestle, but like instead of wrestling smart, he just picks you up and fucking slams you. You know what I'm saying? And then he's just totally tired. And by the third round, it's probably more likely that Charles will get a third round sub. But give me Michael Chandler first round knockout.
I'm going with Charles by first round sub.
Wow.
Because I just think that he is going to do exactly what you said, Skatesman, and just try to make it a war because, he's back and I want to make sure everybody knows New York City with Dustin. I'm going to do the same thing with Charles, make it a fight. And I just feel like that's not going to work out in his favor. And there were times where Gaethje was piecing up Oliveira on the feet, dropping him. Chandler dropped Oliveira as well, but we saw what happens every time the guy's
right. Like it doesn't matter because they don't know how to. Charles is. It's
you don't know how to deal with his guard.
Well, yeah, like exactly. He's smart enough to just be like, all right, I get hurt. I'm just gonna go down, wait for them to come in the guard, and it never works out for them. But no, and respectably, I know that you are a huge Charles fan. In that same vein, like I'm a fan of Michael Chandler, even though I know he's done a lot of stupid shit lately, and rightfully should be criticized for some of the decisions he's made in his career. But man, it'll be a fantastic fight though. Either way,
I agree, but I think it's going to sort of go like the Gaethje fight, where it's going to be back and forth, but then Oliveira gets the knockdown at some point because he looks great against Beneil.
That's literally exactly how their last fight went.
Yeah, exactly, and that happened in the second round. Oliveira was hurt, and then the start of the second round, he dropped Chandler, whereas Gaethje was more just a one-round fight. But I think he looked good enough against Dariush and Arman Sarukian that I think he finishes it.
So I'm not going to criticize a man for adopting children in any sense, but I think it was weird during Black History Month. They fucking had like a promo with like a bunch of black fighters. And then they had Michael Chandler on there talking about how he adopted black. It's like, whoa, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Now, if you're going to criticize Chandler over that, you have to criticize his motivations. Like him talking about it in a political sense, like, it's to prove a point to society. He said that in an interview about why he chose to adopt.
Like Michael Chandler is like that guy that you're like, hey, Mike, you want to go get a pizza? And he's like, or you're like, hey, you want to go get a pizza or you want to go get some steak? And he'll just be like, well, when you talk about
steaks and pizzas,
and what the implications are when you eat a steak, like, and it's just like, dude, Mike, like, we just asked you a very basic question. You don't need to fucking go and like get super deep in like
you can't help but be a motivational
every time
about it. Yep.
Again, I don't mind Michael Chandler, but I understand why people think he's cringy and like holding out for a Conor McGregor fight. Probably wasn't the smartest decision, but I do understand what he did, and I'm rooting for him.
Yeah. Okay. Are you still beefing with Mailson? No, I ended that beef in a debate. I won it. I'm so banned right now. You will never be banned, just Deadpool, unless you go another level of insane. The Skatesman is quite rude to Hank in it. No, he's just he needs to get where he needs to get. We know the dynamic, and we've still been podcasting together.
Yeah. Hey, so come on, JVD. I haven't seen you in here, but good to see you. I'm actually on a road trip right now, and it's fucking crazy.
It's honestly really great that Skatesman is even streaming with me in the first place. So I got to thank you for still committing yourself to the podcast. Anyway, let's get to our main event so that Skatesman can enjoy himself. We have John Jones taking on Stipe Miocic.
So yeah, like Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, like this is a kind of disgusting main event. I will defend John Jones in a few ways and just say like him taking this fight at this stage in his career makes sense. Again, like I'm not sitting here saying he shouldn't be unifying the titles with Tom Aspinall. First and foremost, that should be happening, right? But I do understand, though I don't agree with him taking this fight. The biggest problem with John Jones this weekend is his media scrum. I don't know how much of it you watched, but I did watch the whole thing. And he should have been like, I don't know, we'll see. When asked about Tom, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, we'll see. But no, he
Nope.
doubled down, and he was like, Tom hasn't really done anything to really get this fight, and I hope him all the success in his career. It's kind of disgusting, and honestly, it's textbook ducking.
Yep. Whack, 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 whack.
It's totally ridiculous. He should have just been like, yeah, we'll see what happens, blah blah blah. So again, I really hope that, much like Mike versus Paul, okay, why can't I remember this? Jake Paul. I hope Mike Tyson knocks him out.
Yeah.
Same thing here. Like, I hope Stipe somehow pulls off this win and it just blows up in John Jones's face.
Yeah.
That being said, if you were to give like a percentage on this fight, being like, some people say, oh, it's a 50-50 fight. Like, what percentage do you give Stipe to win?
I actually give him a 20% chance of winning this, because I actually saw John Jones limping down a hallway. Like,
I heard
yesterday.
about that.
And he's got a bad toe. He's always got that bad toe. So if Stipe survives and he starts stomping his foot a little bit, I could actually see him only being on one leg for the rest of the fight.
So that being said, like, if he has a 20% chance to win, does he get finished? Like, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, because obviously John Jones is going to win. That's the smartest pick, right?
Yeah.
But if he gets finished, how does he do it in what round, I guess, is what we're here to like really discuss. I think that Stipe certainly has at least one good round in him. And don't forget, in that fight with Francis, really the only thing, and again, like, I think it was inevitable he would get knocked out by Francis, but he landed a right hand on Francis and was like, oh, I hurt him. I stumbled him. And he just rushed in and bam, he got fucking slept. So it's not like Stipe was doing terrible in the fight in Francis up until the knockout. That being said, it's a completely different style matchup. John Jones not really the most devastating, like, one-shot KO guy, but the hard thing when you fight John Jones is he does have a variety of attacks. Whether or not he'll actually use them, which he hasn't really been recently in his fights at light heavyweight, I do think that John Jones will finish Stipe. And again, Stipe has one really good round in him. I truly do believe that. Second, third round is where I see John Jones finishing this fight. The question is how he gets it done. I don't think Stipe has ever been subbed.
Has he? I don't think so. Yeah.
So,
because he got beat by Steven Struve and Struve knocked him out, and then he got knocked out by DC, and then he got knocked out by Ngannou. So in UFC, he's never been submitted.
But
it's John Jones.
To see, like, if John subs Stipe, I think that would be impressive. I think third round TKO John Jones, some ground and pound, maybe even like a 12-6 elbow gets the job done.
Wouldn't that be ironic?
That would be cool.
Yeah, and then Matt Hamill is just like, yeah. Well, it doesn't matter, man. It was illegal at the time. And then Dana's like, well, if AI were here, they would have gotten rid of that loss. I tell you. But oh, Jesus Christ, Musical is a character. He is. I'm a big fan of Musical. I found this comment funny. If a Trump supporter sparks Charles, Hank will lose it. Dude, 98% of MMA fighters are Trump supporters. So honestly, like,
besides Bo Nickel, I guess.
Yeah, that guy, he's a full on libtard Harris supporter. I tell you.
No, I mean, look, dude, if
he's obviously, it's 98% of them. So
if you like are so infatuated with Trump that you just like are on the Trump train, I think you're an idiot. But that being said, I think the inverse is true, right? Like, if you're like all for a political candidate, you're a fucking dumbass, in my opinion. So,
and the truth, in my opinion, is that both sides regarding the Middle East conflict are both warmongers and neocons. So they have to be criticized.
No comment. I know this event will be good. I'm taking the Bo Nickel approach.
And I don't mind him, but people treat my guy like Mary Poppins or something. Trust. Holyfield should be fighting Paul right now. To be honest, he's earned it. Through what? What was even his last fight? I forget.
This is hilarious. I would die for Trump.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Next time somebody tries to disrupt one of his rallies, maybe he can have you on the stage.
Yeah, he would gladly fill in for that woman who got trying to get through the screen door. So that's very interesting. And it's fun. Cheddarhead was always like, see you on January 6th, Hank. No matter what the result is, we're going to be at the Capitol, brother. So I'd rather be with Cheddarhead than you, Deadpool. Sorry. Not sorry. I'm going with John Jones by round 2 sub. I just think that Stipe at his age, I feel like he's going to be slow in moments, and he's going to stuff the takedowns in the first round, I think, because he will be prepared. I mean, he's a tough-ass firefighter, strong-ass guy, but I feel like he's going to get worn out as time goes on. And then John Jones is just tall enough that he's going to get that takedown eventually. And I just think he locks in the round 2 sub for the win. Could easily be a TKO, like Skatesman said, but I think Miocic is too tough for that. So give me Miocic by sub. Give me John Jones by sub. Jesus Christ. But if it is Stipe Miocic, he gets it by round 2 KO.
That'd be awesome. I'd love to see it. But yeah, I mean, the fight's a farce. The fight that this event was built around is just stupid. Doesn't really prove much at all, if anything. But if Stipe wins and then just retires, can you imagine?
And retires, that would piss me off even more. Because
no, it would be fucking awesome. And then, like, if I was Tom, I'd be like, I'm not fighting John Jones. He just lost. He doesn't deserve this fight.
If I were Tom Aspinall, I'd probably still take on Jones just to show him that.
If you were Tom Aspinall, I can't imagine what the world would look like.
Yeah, I think it would be half the universe being fucking snapped in head going a killer rampage. And
I just think it would be funny if that happened. If just everything got ruined.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. All right. Listen, Hank, I got to go, man.
He's off to the skate park, man. It's good for skatesmen. Thank you all for being here. We got a pretty good crowd for this, showing up on short notice.
You've been putting in a lot of work and building up the fan base, man. So yes, we're grinding. We're halfway to getting monetized. So let's go.
You have escaped the war zone for now. Boink, 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 boink. Old gloves are back, baby. Fuck you, new gloves. Fuck.